This morning, a powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake shook northeastern Japan, prompting a tsunami warning. And the death penalty debate is heating up in Kentucky, with one man sentenced to death more than 30 years ago at the center of the discussion.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller, here with you on this December 9th. The time is now 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Now, Megan, I was actually just telling you about a little song that I used to sing in chorus back in elementary school that I still think of all the time because it's just about how tough those winter days are. And that's kind of how I've been singing it in my head all the past week.
That's how I feel too. I think you need to teach me those lyrics because I'm starting to feel that way too. I'm definitely getting over this wintry weather, the gross weather that we're looking at. Thankfully, it does warm up and get a little bit better today and tomorrow. So let's break down that forecast for you, starting off with satellite and radar. A little bit of clouds this morning, but a relatively calm day. We're not looking at any chance of precipitation really for the next several hours. That is until Wednesday morning when that does change. Temperatures, though, very cold. It's not a pleasant morning. Upper 20s and low 30s. With high temperatures for the day and a mixture of the 40s, low to mid 40s for our more northern counties and mid to upper 40s, for our more southern counties. High temperatures today will be around 4 p.m. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. Take a look at this video out of Japan. It shows parked cars violently shaking outside homes in the Aomori Prefecture as a powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake shook northeastern Japan. Reuters was able to confirm the location by the house's facades, road layout, utility poles, and trees which matched file and satellite imagery. The powerful quake prompted tsunami warnings and around 90,000 residents were ordered to evacuate. The death penalty debate is heating up in Kentucky. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman wants to resume executions and wants more clarification on a temporary injunction passed in 2010 that halted them. Ralph Bays, sentenced to death more than 30 years ago for the murders of a Powell County sheriff and deputy, is now central to this discussion. That 2010 injunction prevented the execution of another death row inmate. A judge has kept it in place, pausing all executions. The judge originally questioned insanity regulations. The judge says he cannot tell the governor to issue a death warrant. The court did not make an order yesterday. A court hearing continues over evidence in the case against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of murdering healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Prosecutors released new images of what they say was found when Mangione was arrested after a multi-day manhunt exactly 1 year ago today. Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
Luigi Mangione was back in a New York City courtroom Monday as attorneys argued over whether evidence can be used in his upcoming murder trial. He's accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a Manhattan sidewalk last December. It was 1 year ago that Mangione was arrested in a Pennsylvania McDonald's after a multi-day manhunt when people recognized him and called 911.
I have a customer here that some other customers were suspicious of, that he looks like the CEO shooter.
For the first time, prosecutors are releasing images of what they say was found with Mangione during the arrest, including a 3D printed gun, silencer, bullets, and pages from a notebook that appear to show plans for a getaway and ways to stay undetected. In court, a police officer testified that they searched Mangione's belongings only after he was under arrest and wanted to make sure he didn't have a bomb. But Mangione's attorneys argue police should have had a search warrant and say he wasn't read his Miranda rights before he was questioned. They want the evidence excluded from the state trial.
If the police officers legitimately and in good faith believe that there's a substantial risk to themselves or the general public, they have every right, every constitutional right to go into that backpack and conduct a warrantless search.
During the confrontation, officers can be heard on tape discussing whether or not they need a search warrant to look through the items. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to all charges. He is also facing federal charges where prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
On Monday, Pennsylvania police testified that Mangione gave them a fake ID before his arrest. They say the same fake name was used by the alleged gunman at a Manhattan hotel before the shooting. President Trump yesterday threw a lifeline to farmers struggling to sell crops while getting hit by rising costs. The president met with farmers at the White House and announced a $12 billion farm aid package. Trump says the money will come from tariff revenues. Farmers felt the squeeze after Trump raised tariffs on China as part of a broader trade war with Beijing.
This relief will provide much needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops, and it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
Trump also blamed his predecessor for the problem, saying inflation under President Biden crushed farmers. The Trump administration's payments for farmers are scheduled to be distributed in February. President Donald Trump plans to sign an executive order blocking state AI regulations. He posted on social media yesterday, quote, "There must be only one rule book if we are going to continue to lead in AI." It comes as some states have passed laws to address potentially risky and harmful uses of AI. Critics worry the deregulation push could allow AI companies to evade accountability should their tools harm consumers. A blockbuster Supreme Court case calls into question our current campaign finance laws. Molly Martinez reports a ruling could have major implications on the upcoming primaries and politics as we know it.
The question at the center of this case is, do campaign contributions and political spending count as free speech? And should they be protected under the First Amendment? Back in 2022, then Senator, now Vice President, J.D. Vance filed a lawsuit to allow political parties to make unlimited contributions to candidate campaigns. That suit made it all the way to the Supreme Court, where justices will weigh in on Tuesday.
This case is about the First Amendment. It's about the right to free speech. And in particular, this case is about the right of free speech of political parties.
Senior Cato Institute legal fellow Dan Greenberg explains why contribution limits are, well, limiting.
You're really regulating the political process. More particularly, you're regulating the ads that political parties can buy.
Tara Malloy with the Campaign Legal Center believes guardrails are necessary.
Unlimited money equals corruption. If a single donor can give a large amount of money to a candidate, this is the equivalent of them purchasing influence and perhaps even a quid pro quo exchange of money for a vote or for a policy program.
Oral arguments in this case will be heard on Tuesday, with a decision expected by June. That decision will impact the 2026 midterms, which are already on track to see historic spending. At the Supreme Court, I'm Molly Martinez.
On Monday, the president appeared to walk back last week's comments indicating he'd be open to publicly releasing the footage of a second strike on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat from early September that killed 2 survivors. The president is now deferring to his Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem. Whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
According to 2 sources familiar with the matter, Hegseth, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are set to brief 8 top lawmakers on a range of issues later today.
And we're dealing with those chilly temperatures once again this morning. Make sure you're wearing your hat, gloves, scarves, whatever you have to protect yourself. And if you are traveling, especially in Virginia, West Virginia, or our far northeastern counties in Kentucky, please be careful as there are black ice spots on some roadways this morning. Now, as we head into the afternoon, we will warm above freezing, so hopefully some of that will melt. And we're looking at a mixture of the 40s, low to upper 40s is the large temperature range across eastern Kentucky. We're looking at a little bit of clouds, but by the afternoon, the sun will start to peek out a little bit. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Still to come, fire truck orders are backlogged across the country. We investigate the problem that's costing taxpayers and potentially lives.